I knew from a young age, maybe 12, 13, that I wanted to live in a residential care placement. I'm not 100% sure how I knew, but I did know that I never felt like I fitted in or belonged in a foster placement. This wasn't always because of the foster carers, because some were really nice. It just wasn't a suitable form of placement for me. I'm not going to pretend that I had the greatest experience in foster placements, because I didn't. Some of the things I had experienced still have a long-term effect on me. One thing that has always stood out for me is that I had a foster carer who deemed me to be overweight and put me on a diet at age 11. Before this, I was never aware of my size. Today, this is something I carry with me daily. And I'm not talking about just a general eating healthy. This was to the point that they would point it out in front of other people and the other children that they lived with them about how big my tummy was, and they would also punish me for eating a bar of chocolate. This made me question who I was and if my perception of myself was wrong. Unfortunately, this was just the tip of the iceberg. In a lot of my foster placements, I was forced to change. I was forced to change how I dressed, how I talked, how I eat, and so much more. And again, this made me question who I was, where I was from, and where did I belong. For a long time, my social worker was reluctant to consider a residential placement for me, until finally when I was about 14. The social worker agreed to have a look for a suitable residential placement for me. I had been requesting this move since I was about 12. I was severely unhappy in my foster placement, and after I had been requesting to move on numerous occasions for me to be placed elsewhere, I wasn't being listened to because what does a kid know about what they want? But I did know, and I had to take drastic action in order for them to move me from the placement. But this was not my last foster placement. Between the age of 13 and 14, I would go on to be placed in over 8 foster care placements. All of my placements in foster care are broken down for one reason or another. But the main reason normally was because the foster carers were not trained, nor felt comfortable having a child with mental health and bad behaviour. So the minute things weren't okay, they would request me to be moved from the placement. This even happened once while I was in hospital being observed and treated for my mental health. Since these placements kept breaking down, my social worker knew it was going to be very difficult to find a foster placement that would take me in, and residential was the last resort. My social worker would later down the line apologise for not listening sooner, as it was the best decision any professional had made on my behalf. It also turned out to be my longest, most stable, last and all-time favourite placement. I firmly believe that that my residential care experience and those that worked there helped shape who I am today. I learned so much about myself, managing friendships and family relationships, with so much more. Some lessons I had learned then, and some after I had transitioned into adulthood. They became something I never thought I wanted or needed, and that was a family, in our own unique way. I hope to pass these lessons and the feeling of belonging and being able to be yourself onto my own children someday. Some of these lessons were invaluable. It ranges from understanding that our expectations of someone doesn't always necessarily mean that they are capable of reaching those expectations, and that accepting that what they can do over what they can't is a healthier way of maintaining relationships, but also knowing when it's okay to walk away, to teaching me that it is okay to be exactly who I am and to embrace that. They taught me to be free from conformities. They celebrated my differences by accepting them. Now, I'm not going to pretend it was the perfect placement because it wasn't. Myself and the people who took care of me during my experience. We faced trials, issues, and disagreements. Sometimes they would have to make decisions on my behalf and had to say no, but this was always because they only ever wanted what was best for me. Although it took me a little while to realise this, there wasn't anything that couldn't be fixed or understood over a cuppa and a chat. This is something I still use today in my own family dynamics. No matter what I did, who I was or how I felt. They always accepted me and validated my feelings, helped me to learn to understand them and manage them, and most of all, they never gave up on me like many before them had. The reason I am telling this experience of mine is because I want people who can make these decisions or have the power to listen to young people who ask for a residential placement to know the importance of residential care placements, how valuable they can be for a young person. Not all young people will want to live in a residential placement, but not all young people want to live in a foster placement. Residential placement shouldn't be a last option. It should just simply be an option for young people. It should also be an option to stay in residential placements post 18. I know my residential placement tried to get permission to keep me there after my 18th birthday, but were unsuccessful. But that didn't stop them from supporting me after I had moved out into my own property. In fact, it was those who raised concerns for my well-being to my 16 plus worker, which would later on result in me being placed in supported housing, as my independent living situation wasn't comfortable or suitable to my needs at that time.